Local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The Moose.
You might not be an A, but you are a B plus.
Check it out! Here we go!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome to the most must-listen to WWE podcast in Australia. Welcome to the B Plus Podcast. My name is C-Jaii, and I am flying solo this week, as we have a couple of times before. Once again, we are heading straight into Monday Night Raw. The Superstar Shake-Up is apparently still going on, because we've seen a couple of Superstars change brands again this week. But we'll head straight into it with Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins kicking off Monday Night Raw in Iowa. He is the hometown hero this week, so his pop is huge. Triple H, prior to that, came out to the ring and was like, hey, yeah, let's get the cheers, but just could not get it to work. And of course, out comes Seth Rollins to this massive ovation, which was really nice to hear, because you don't hear many active crowds these days. So it was really good. Compared to last week and to the Raw after Mania, this crowd was a bit better. So I was pretty impressed with it. So, of course, Seth Rollins comes out and says that he's going to be a fighting champion, and then he needs a new number one contender. And then enter the United States champion, Samoa Joe, making his Monday Night Raw debut. I think it was his debut to Monday Night Raw. I can't remember. And then, of course, he got interrupted by Rey Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, Miz, Baron Corbin, and then AJ Styles. All come out making their case to being the number one contender. So then we get two triple threat matches set for the week for Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe for the first one. And then for the second one later on, you get The Miz versus Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin. Personally, I would have chosen The Miz to swap spots with Samoa Joe. So then that way you have like three smaller guys and then three bigger guys. And you could have like a David versus Goliath for the main event. Which somewhat still turned out like that. But I don't know, three big men like... I don't know, I just personally feel like McIntyre, Corbin, and Joe would have killed it in that ring. And I would be excited to see that again. So, of course, we get the first match coming into Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. AJ Styles getting the win, which, of course, was really, really good to see. Wasn't expecting what was playing out. A couple of 619s were teased, eventually got hit. The third one, I think it was the third one that eventually got him. And then AJ Styles hits the Styles Clash onto the US champion and ended up getting the victory. So AJ Styles goes further into the main event. Next up, we have Naomi versus Billie Kay. Why? That's all I have to say is why. Naomi's trying to sort of make herself a little bit more relevant. She doesn't have a tag team partner per se, so I don't know why they're putting her up against a tag team champion, because they're teasing her for a little run from what commentary was saying, but it just doesn't work, if that makes sense, if she doesn't have a partner. So, of course, Naomi picked up the victory over Billie Kay this week. Semi-decent match, but could have been better again. And then we get into the second triple threat match, which they were pretty close together. So, of course, you get The Miz, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. The Miz was the MVP of this match. I mean, he killed it. I'm very, very proud of him. He's doing so well since WrestleMania. He's sort of got this new fire under his belly. He's heading towards Money in the Bank with momentum. He's heading into the weekly episodes of Monday Night Raw with momentum, which is really good because he is the most must-see WWE superstar ever. That's a broad statement, actually. And of course, Baron Corbin picking up the victory again. Grown. Get him off TV. Picking up the win, defeating Drew McIntyre and The Miz. So it's really strange. So Corbin has momentum coming out of WrestleMania. Him going over makes sense here. But it was really strange how they pulled it out. So we'll get into the main event later on. And then we get the man who's on fire, the man with a microphone, Sami Zayn, coming out and addresses the WWE Universe with his fantastic dancing once more. Comes out and he's got such a finesse about him. He's so charismatic, just exudes excitement when he comes out. And then he starts to talk, and you can just tell the gears are in his head, they're turning, and he's about to pull something out of his hat. And he's like, I was in Norway, I was in Sweden, I was in Switzerland, I was enjoying my time away. Look at these smiles as he pulls up photos of himself from his holidays. He's like, the smile on my face was great, and then I came back here, and I'm miserable. And you know why? It's because you, and addresses the WWE Universe. And he goes, you know what? I've had enough. He's like, you know, this is all your fault. All your fault. You should all take a holiday to hell. And drops the microphone, walks off. Now, this is crazy. He's riding extreme momentum just by being on the microphone. He's another one of those guys right now that have just this insane amount of ability on the microphone and doesn't need to wrestle. We've seen guys like this who have done this before. Elias, The Rock. Did I just really compare those two in the same sentence? Wow. It's as if Sami Zayn is shown this new side of him where he doesn't have to be physically in the ring to gain heat or to get the cheer. So I'm excited to see where this goes and what feud this is going to bring out, because so far he's just going off the WWE Universe. So it's kind of fun to watch. Next up, we get two new Raw superstars, Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. I'm waiting for them to drop one of Cedric's names. It'll happen eventually. This was a pretty good match. So Cedric Alexander showed Monday Night Raw what he can do with the flips and the tricks. Being a former Cruiserweight champion, you know he's got the moves, he's got the power, got the skill. Cesaro, however, picking up the victory with a severe uppercut. So apparently the neutralizer did not need to be used. He copped an uppercut. Cesaro getting the win. This states in effect, so I just want to touch on this real quick. From what I've heard, they haven't split the bar itself. By the sounds of it, Sheamus is dealing with an injury that has been nagging him for a while. So they've taken Sheamus off TV, and Cesaro's going to have a little singles run here. He's still wearing the bar mouthguard, still does the bar symbol, bar music, so by the sounds of it, he's still going to carry on the bar gimmick, which is really, really cool. We just hope here at the B Plus that Sheamus has a speedy recovery if it's not too bad of an injury, and we get to see him in the ring again. Following up, we have the Loser House Party versus the the Viking Experience. No, wait, that's wrong again. The Viking Raiders. That's right. Another name change happens right before Raw, and everyone literally is sitting there going, what? So it was quite interesting to say the least. And of course, they were supposed to go up against Lucha House Party, but during their entrance, the Viking Raiders ended up hitting the finisher, the Viking Experience, and it came to a no contest. So it was really strange. So picking up from, this seems to be not a heel turn, but it seems to be like a aggravated assault. That sounds like I'm turning this into a police moment. The Viking Raiders are that team that they can be dominant, they can be brutal. And I'm excited to see how this plays out, because they can gun straight for Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, who got TV time this week. And they're obviously proving themselves to be a very notable team. We knew them in NXT as War Raiders, of course, and they are brutal in War Raiders. But now on the main roster as Viking Raiders, people who don't watch NXT may not know them, but this shows how dominant they can actually be. Following that, we get Becky Lynch coming out and calling out Lacey Evans. So Lacey Evans' music hits. She comes out and says that she's Becky 2 belts, and that come Money in the Bank, she's going to take the Raw Women's Championship. So it's really exciting to see that we're going to have a first huge moment for Lacey Evans pretty much straight after her in-ring debut, which was really good. Of course, after War Awards, we get Alicia Fox's music plays, and I don't know what her gimmick is. I don't know what that dancing was, because it certainly wasn't dancing. Like, I don't know about you guys that are listening, but I've done better dancing when I don't remember the nights. And that was some weird dancing. I wasn't sure if she was intoxicated again or what was going on, because that was just strange. But of course, Becky Lynch defeating Alicia Fox by submission, and of course the cheap shot, Lady Southern Belle, Lacey Evans, hits Becky Lynch with the women's right twice. So she's proving herself to be a force to reckon with. Next match, we get the one and only Ricochet versus Robert Roode. That's right, another name change for Monday Night Raw. So Robert Roode and Ricochet. Try saying that 5 times fast. They put on actually a decent match. I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. Of course, there was a lot of back and forth, heavy hitting, flippy stuff. But of course, Roode going over with a glorious DDT. Roode defeating Ricochet. It was interesting, to say the least. And I think, personally, I feel as if they're going to try and push Robert Roode towards like a Macho Man moment, maybe? I'm not too sure. However, I'm excited to see where it goes. The next segment we got had to be the weirdest, strangest, fun moment, I guess you could call it. The Firefly Funhouse. That's right. Bray Wyatt has made his return to WWE TV on Blue's Clues. Sesame Street. Fun House. Firefly Funhouse. That's what they're calling this. And it was really strange. We were getting all these creepy vignettes, and then this comes out. Is this going to be like a I'm a good guy, but I'm actually really bad moment? Because he had the Buzzard puppet, then the witch, and then the advertising some rabbit, which I don't think we've ever seen the rabbit. And then he does the whole, like, chainsaw cutting himself in half. Well, not himself, but a cardboard cutout of what Bray Wyatt used to be before he got injured. And it was really strange to see. Because he still had that twisted mind to him. So, could this potentially be like a multiple personality disorder situation? That would be a good way to do it, because the rabbit could be the good side of him. The witch could represent Sister Abigail, and the buzzard could represent him. So he could have, like, multiple personalities, and he could use it as sort of a broken universe in his own. Like, I wouldn't say like a multiverse theory, but it could potentially run that way. However, it was really fun to watch this. I laughed quite a bit. Because the first thing I saw was the blue wall, and I'm like, oh, look, it's Blue's Clues. And I was thinking, I'm getting an ad for Blue's Clues. But no, it turned out to be Bray Wyatt. So it was close enough. So it was weird. But let's see how it goes. Then, of course, we get the main event of the evening. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. Decent match, I'd say. It was like maybe 2.5 out of 5 stars for myself. However, we are getting the match that everyone begged for, everyone asked for, a lot earlier than we expected. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship after Styles defeats Baron Corbin to become the #1 contender. wow. Like, this is incredible. This match is going to be really good. I just hope it doesn't get, like, ruined by a cash-in. I'm calling it now. I'm saying the cash-in will come somewhere in after Money in the Bank. Like, after the match itself, if the Universal title is on last. It's going to be some sort of interference by the Money in the Bank winner. But I was really excited to see this. So we're getting Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. I would like it if they turn this match into a ladder match due to the fact that it's at Money in the Bank. Would be really cool to see, but even then it's still one-on-one style, exhibition style match would be fantastic. I'm excited for this. Thank you WWE for actually giving us what we have asked for. And that pretty much summed up Monday Night Raw. To me, it was a total what the heck moment, mainly because of the Firefly Funhouse. I couldn't get over that. I was like, the fuck?
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, OUTBREAK NUTRITION. OUTBREAK NUTRITION are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right, they have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at OUTBREAK NUTRITION. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout.
But then, of course, we hit SmackDown Live. The show opens with Shane McMahon coming out, doing the little dancing that he does. He comes out and says, you know what? Roman Reigns had some nerve. Should he suspend the big dog? Should he fine him? Or should he terminate him? And then put it into layman's terms as fire, because apparently half of Iowa didn't get the term. He calls out Roman Reigns and said, you know what, you work for me, so you follow my orders. Get out here. Roman's music hits, he comes out, picks up the microphone, and then just drops it. Lets it hit the floor, and you can see Roman doesn't want to talk, he's there for business. So Shane does the same thing. Looks like those two are going to go one-on-one until Elias steps in. The hottest commodity in WWE today, Elias is making himself known on the blue brand by taking out the big dog. So this is really interesting. Seems like Elias is the chosen one of sorts for the McMahons. So I'm excited to see what they do with Elias. But with Roman Reigns as well, it's kind of... He's not like a main event star still, but he's getting the opening shots. So it's fun to see what's going on in that situation too. However, Elias and Shane McMahon both beat down Roman Reigns, leaving him on the mat as they head up to the back as well. So it was fine, but a bland opening segment. It was funny to have Shane play the hypocrite by denouncing Reigns for attacking his father after he did the same to Mr. Miz. Like, there wasn't even heat though. The crowd didn't even just go for it. It was weird. It was really strange. But the opening match for SmackDown Live was the Intercontinental Champion Finn Balor versus a new person for SmackDown Live, Andrade and Zelina Vega. Of course, Finn Balor picking up the win this week after the distraction by Zelina Vega, which looks like it's going to be a little bit of tension between Vega and Andrade, but I really, really hope not. I hope they stay together because it's probably the best thing they've done for these guys, because I can't see what they would do outside of it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see... Keep using that term. But I'm excited to see what's happening because Money in the Bank is one of my favorite pay-per-views in the year and everyone's trying to gain momentum. So I'm excited to see how they put Andrade in this, even though he just copped the pinfall. I would like to see them in a feud for the Intercontinental Championship. It'll be fun. It would be. But having Andrade lose so definitively here, though, takes away from his first victory over the champion, who no one else has been able to get close to defeating recently. So it would have had more sense for him to continue the winning streak and keep defeating Balor, but I don't know, it just makes it seem more even. Next up, we have Peyton Royce versus Kairi Sane. Kairi getting the victory, making her undefeated on SmackDown Live. Of course, before this, there was a little package showing that before SmackDown, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville confront Paige to say, why is it there? Why don't you just come to us? And after the match, Mandy and Sonya come out to the stage and do the whole slow clap for the winners. So condescending. It was like so much sass and so much shade. It was perfect for them because they're like, you know what, we're better. It's okay. So it was interesting to see. And by the looks of it, we're going to get Kairi Sane and Asuka versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in a little feud, which I can understand because, you know, the absolution thing was weird. And then we get the next match, which was supposed to be the return for Chad Gable into SmackDown Live, and of course Jinder Mahal makes his return to SmackDown Live as being a new member of the roster. But of course, halfway through Chad Gable's entrance, he's interrupted by Lars Sullivan. Sort of just takes him out, knocks him into the steel post, pushes him out completely. And then he attacks the Singh brothers because, you know, Jinder Mahal ran for it. He attacks the Singh brothers, laying them both down, and R-Truth goes to make the save, only to get laid out himself. Gets planted with a running sit-out powerbomb. So, by looks like we're getting R-Truth and Lars Sullivan feud. Not exactly what they had planned for the beginning, because I know when Lars was first supposed to debut, he was supposed to have this huge moment heading into WrestleMania. Supposed to have this little thing with John Cena. I suppose, like, I know it's not as big, because John Cena's like the be-all and end-all, apparently. But R-Truth is still pretty good. I still enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this because R-Truth is a fantastic talent. Sullivan, he's got talent there, but I'm just still not a fan of him. I don't know why, I'm just not a fan. I just can't put my finger on it. But I suppose it'll be a feud to sort of look at and then walk away from, if that makes sense. It's one of those ones that can be done and then done with. Does that make sense? And then next up, we have Becky Lynch in the ring saying that she's got to defend her Raw Women's title. But she is Becky 2 belts, however, and it's a Charlotte Flair who is demanding her title rematch. She goes on to explain that it was Ronda Rousey that lost. It was Ronda Rousey that got pinned, not Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair did not lose that match. So therefore, she by rights should have another opportunity. But then Becky Lynch goes out and was like, you know what? No, you can go to the back of the line because you've got people like Bayley, like Ember Moon, people who deserve this and have been fighting for it. You can't just come in and claim it. And this is where Bayley enters. Bayley comes out and she goes, you know what? I've had enough of this. Everything has been handed to you, talking to Charlotte, everything has been handed to you by management, and I've had enough of it. She gets in Charlotte's face, and they're sort of going face to face, and then it turns into Charlotte versus Bayley in the number one contendership for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So by the sounds of it, we aren't getting unification, which is fantastic. Becky is pulling double duty at Money in the Bank now, as Charlotte defeats Bayley via pinfall to become the number one contender. This was a decent match. I actually thought Bayley was going to win at one stage, and I was like, oh yay, Bayley's going to get a shot. But no, it turns out that Charlotte once again wins, or quote unquote earns her opportunity. So Becky officially pulling double duty, defending both belts at Money in the Bank, which is going to be interesting. Poor girl pulling double duty, like she's going to be a wreck by the end of that. And then she's got Raw the night after, and then SmackDown because she's going to retain because Becky is the best. That could create a chant. And then we get the final, probably the most shocking moment for myself this week on SmackDown Live. Kofi Kingston with Big O and Xavier Woods at ringside on commentary. These guys are fire on commentary. And versus Shinsuke Nakamura, who is flanked by Rusev and Lana. This match was decent. Well, like, these guys tend not to put on bad matches. And I was kind of at the edge of my seat for this, because I was like, you guys are really, really good. And then, turns out that Rusev comes in, attacks Kofi Kingston, saving him from the pinfall, causing the disqualification. Nakamura takes out Xavier Woods. Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens sort of fight off Nakamura. And then Kevin Owens does what he does best. Looks out for himself. Everyone should have learnt from watching Sami Zayn, watching Chris Jericho. Kevin Owens goes for himself and attacks Kofi Kingston. The heel turn of the century again. He turns face and heel more times than the Big Show by the sounds of it, and this is crazy. So, by the looks of it, we're actually going to get Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston at Money in the Bank, as Kevin Owens makes the exclamation that he wants the WWE Championship, and he's going to take it. He's just pretty much shot at the top of the number one contenders list. He doesn't have to earn it, he's just demanded it. This is going to be really good. It's going to be a heated rivalry coming into Money in the Bank. A great first challenge for Kofi Kingston. And great new challenge for everyone, really, because Kevin Owens hasn't been in the main event spotlight for a while. Not just because he's been injured, but because WWE have been doing different things for him. So I'm excited to see this. Kevin Owens definitely deserves this spot. I'm hoping Kofi retains, but we'll sort of get into that when we do our Money in the Bank preview. Segments announced for the main roster shows next week, however, were a moment of bliss with, of course, your host, Alexa Bliss, who will be announcing on Raw the Money in the Bank competitors for Raw for men's and for women. So I'm excited so much for this because, as I've said before, Money in the Bank is possibly my third favorite pay-per-view out of the whole year due to the fact that it is so unpredictable. We've had so many world champions come out of this. I just love the concept of the cash-in. I love the concept of a ladder match. And it makes for a great career because if you look at people like The Miz, Edge, Rob Van Dam, all of these guys have won and successfully cashed in the briefcase to become the respective world champions. Actually, they all cashed in to become world heavyweight champions. Look at that. I know he's not part of wrestling anymore, but CM Punk cashed in to become world heavyweight champion. And before these guys won the Money in the Bank briefcase, they weren't a blip in the eye of the main roster. They weren't in the main event. They weren't up in the title picture. However, the cash-ins made the superstar. So potentially we could see another one made, and I would be really, really excited for someone who's not normally in the main event to win it. But we'll head into that when we find out who our competitors are. And of course, we get 205 Live with Drew Gulak opening the show, hyping the real position this week, which was really strange because it's normally Drake Maverick. However, so we get Humberto Carrillo defeating Drew Gulak via pinfall. Only Lorcan cutting a promo about how he's been training for over a decade to come to WWE and become champion. Ari Daivari stands in his way. Once the bell rings, it's all he cares about. It's about hitting his opponent as hard as possible. We get Daivari cutting a promo about how success since changing his attitude, the undefeated streak he's been running all year. Neither doesn't care who it is, but nobody's going to keep him from being the next Cruiserweight champion. So everyone wants that shot because the Cruiserweight Championship is the only championship. So you kind of got a target on your back there. Then we get Akira Tozawa jumping Mike Kanellis, beating him down until the refs pull him off. So that match isn't done. This feud has not finished. So I'm excited to see how this goes too. And then of course you get Ari Daivari defeating Ono Lorcan to become the number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. So we get Tony Nese versus Ari Daivari for the Cruiserweight Championship coming up soon. But that pretty much rounds out everything for the WWE this week. Of course, you'll get NXT coming up with Big Boy Mikey and Unchained. Greg Unchained, I should say. But yeah, so far we have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair set for Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns versus Elias was also official for Money in the Bank. We've got AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, and then Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans. So it's going to be exciting time coming into Money in the Bank. So of course, I hope you can all join us next week, as we hopefully won't be flying solo this week. Next week. Of course, my name is C-Jaii. I am C-Jaii's World on Facebook and at C-Jaii's_World on Instagram. But we collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. But we are the B Plus Wrestling pretty much everywhere else except for Patreon, which is www.patreon.com/the B Plus. If you want to get in on our mission to watch global and support local, that is the place to do it. Every dollar that comes in goes in towards growing the show and helping get the word out about Aussie wrestling. Of course, you can get ad-free episodes, custom episodes, and all sorts of awesome rewards, so get around it. Don't forget, of course, wherever you're listening, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, you name it, we've got it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review if you feel like someone's word. But as always, thank you for listening to this experience.